Well, thank you so much
Sure
for taking the time to talk to us today. Give us a little preview about what you're going to be talking to all the 500 attendees that are here today about.
Today I'm going to be talking about the need for a national energy policy, a policy that's coherent, consistent, and makes sense. And I think one of the issues that we deal with in Washington is people are trying to select what resources available, what resources not available. And I'm going to make the case that clearly we need everything and point out that we need to work together to try to achieve that and get active in that process. I know the Chamber's been active in that as well, and certainly I'd admonish everyone to be involved with that activity. It's clear that without a national energy policy, for us to be making the huge investments that we're making, this country in the electric utility industry needs to invest about $2 trillion in the next 2 decades. And to mitigate the impacts ultimately to our customers, we really need to think about that rational policy and execute toward that, as opposed to this one step versus another step approach, and it goes back and forth all the time, and we wind up being suboptimal in the way we invest.
Now, what do you envision being as part of the national energy policy? What would that look like?
I think you'd have a national energy policy that pushes a truly all the above strategy. Certainly regulations would need to support and really support in a positive way the advancement of every resource, particularly the indigenous resources we have available to us in the U.S., and be a partner in doing that. In the case of an EPA, with an environmentally benign way, we can progress in that picture. We can work together with the unions, we can work together with the communities that are involved and create jobs.
Now, tell me a little bit about what AEP is doing, some of the projects they're working on. I know you guys are big into innovation and new technologies.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about some of those.
Well, it's really across the board. We're very focused on the development of coal-fired generation, obviously. The first ultra-supercritical coal-fired unit in the country.
I saw that somewhere today and was very intrigued by that.
It's being built in southwest Arkansas, and it really, the only thing it does for you is it's the metallurgy associated with it allows higher steam temperatures, so it's much more efficient. Much more efficient means it burns less coal, emits less emissions, and it really is an advancement from a coal-fired standpoint in this country. But the other thing is we're working very focused on battery technologies. Community energy storage is a part of our smart grid projects. Integrated volt-VAR control to drive efficiencies of the grid itself. So it's not just we're trying to push coal-fired generation. We want to make sure natural gas-fired generation continues. Our nuclear station, we're doing a life cycle management and a potential uprate of that nuclear station. And then from a smart grid perspective, we have pilots in three of our companies that focus on the advancements from a customer usage standpoint, but also efficiency all the way back beyond the meter. And that's what's clearly important to us. We have to answer it in all those perspectives.
So do you think innovation is going to help shape that national energy policy?
Absolutely. The technologies themselves are changing. The technology is advancing much more quickly than they ever did before. And that kind of ingenuity, American ingenuity, can be put in place with that national energy policy, because if people have a vision in mind of where we're trying to get to, the whole industry will galvanize around it and we'll all move forward together.